Good morning. Man, you're on a roll. I'm so glad you keep showing up for these sessions. You motivate me. So thank you. I know you're a movement ninja, so the fact that you're showing up for these classes means that, I don't know, maybe you're finding some value. Or maybe you're just sitting there mocking me the whole time. Who knows? Just kidding. So, welcome. I'm really excited about today. Normally, I have about 9 movement patterns. Today, we're going to do 12 functional movement patterns. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get it. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start on the ground, supine position, please. So, go ahead and make your way down onto the ground if you'd be so kind. We're going to start off with about 5 minutes of roaming the body, roaming. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay down. Legs could be straight, legs could be bent, choice is yours. And then just start to add some little movements to open up the channels of energy in the body. Now, you might be thinking, what the heck are you talking about, Daniel? Well, if you feel pain or discomfort, it's likely that there could be some sort of man, it's a little bit tricky when we start to articulate these things, but let's just use the term blockage for lack of better words. So, if you feel pain or discomfort, or just something feels like not flowing and beautiful and optimal and youthful, then just move your body a little bit, perhaps add a little bit of tactile support to help your body relax even further. So, before we get into our movement patterns today, I want to encourage you to set an intention for your movement practice. The way I like to set an intention is think about what it is that you want to be able to do in your daily life. So for me, I like to play with my kids, I like to play with my dog, I like to be able to do stuff with my body. And so the way I move and the way I practice and the way I exercise reflects that intention or supports the intention of being able to do stuff with my body. Okay. So while you're setting an intention, go ahead and roll onto one side and just allow the ground to massage into the side of the body. Now, I also want to encourage you guys to make sure you're breathing 3-dimensionally this morning throughout the entire practice. Breathe in, breathe out. And every time you find yourself into different positions, especially positions where you find yourself holding your breath, that's a good indication that you need to breathe more. Okay, so use the breath as a way to massage yourself from the inside out. Okay, now let's go ahead. If you were rolling on one side, let's go ahead and switch sides. You're just massaging into the body with the ground. Okay. Maybe you emphasize a little bit of what's happening in the shoulder. Maybe you're emphasizing a little bit what's going on in the leg. Choice is yours. Now let's go ahead and roll all the way onto our belly and let the ground massage our belly a little bit. Perhaps prop yourself up on your forearms. Inhale, exhale. Let go of tension in your spine this morning. Now, if this is a little bit too much, posting yourself up on the forearms, you're feeling like, I'm not too sure about that, then lower yourself down. Let go of tension in the spine. A lot of times people, when they have situations like back pain, chronic back pain especially, they tend to hold tension subconsciously. So as we're moving today, I want to encourage you guys to let go of that subconscious holding, okay? So just add whatever movements you need to add to make this check-in even more productive for you. How's your body feeling this morning? Right? Perhaps you want to play around with bringing into mind something you're thankful for this morning, such as, wow, I'm glad I feel pretty good today. I mean, I'm here, you know, I'm gonna move around with my buddy Daniel there, and it's gonna be a good time. Thankful for that. And even if it isn't going to be a good time, I know my body and my mind and my spirit are going to benefit from what I'm about to do. Bring into mind things that you're thankful for. Maybe no matter what you look at. Let's say I look at my light in my room. I'm thankful I got light. I'm glad I got a roof over my head. I'm so thankful I got breath in my body, giving me life. I'm so glad my stuff still works after all these years of doing all sorts of stuff and enduring all sorts of injuries. So much to be thankful for, and it always feels good to me to give thanks on a regular basis. So make sure that you guys are doing that for yourself as well. Okay? So we're going to be moving into our first movement pattern today. In about 15 seconds, it's going to involve rocking. Now, we've done rocking before. The way we're going to do it this time is we're going to make a figure 4 with our legs. So every time you rock up, you're going to come up into this position, this figure 4 position. So let's go ahead and get that started. So you're rocking and coming up into a nice figure 4 position. So when you get to this position, long through the spine, maybe add some gentle rotations, maybe even a gentle reach right out of the gates. Let's get it. Okay, switch sides. Perhaps you want to rock a couple times and then come up with your figure 4. That's cool too. And you guys might notice my color, the color in my shirt is red. Now, you know what happens when I wear the red. So usually at about this time of year, right about to get into February, we got to kick things into high gear so that we can get ready for beach season. Know what I'm saying? Maybe add that to your intention. Beach season coming up. I actually don't really care too much about aesthetics, and the reason why is because that's anytime I've ever focused on aesthetics in my movement practice is when I usually injured my body versus focusing on function, and then the body looks better anyways, and you don't hurt yourself, at least as much. All right, guys, next movement pattern, please. Side sit position. We're going to use our side sit position. You're going to post one arm on the ground. We're going to lay down, roll up through our back, and then sit up into side sit on the other side. Okay? So lower down, roll, press up, side sit. That's it. Okay? So 60 seconds of this beautifulness. Now, when you come up into your side sit, explore the sensations deep inside the hips. See if you can take those deep diaphragmatic three-dimensional breaths and really start to expand the space in the lowest part of your pelvis, the lowest part of your ribs, all the way through the thorax. You really want to create some movement in that area. And then when I sit up, I'm able to mobilize through the hips. Okay, so I roll, side sit, roll, side sit. Inhale, exhale. 10 seconds left. We're moving into a knee-hand crawl position next. Inhale, exhale. Okay, guys, knee-hand crawl position, please. Starting with some spinal articulation. So you're just going to shift your body weight forward and back, starting to integrate a little bit of extension and flexion of the spine. Okay, so follow that feel good principle. If it feels good, it's likely you're doing something beneficial for the connective tissue. A lot of our work that we do together is focusing on what's known as fascial fitness. So we're focusing on the fitness or the health of our connective tissue and not just focusing on exercise through the lens of muscles and contractions of those muscles. So shift the body weight forward and back. You can now start to add a little bit of a wag of your tail, maybe a little lateral flexion through the spine, or maybe a combination of all the above. Send some waves of motion through the spine and just let go of unnecessary tension, okay? So you're exploring your limits, but not exceeding them. That's very, very important as we're doing our movement practice today. About 7 seconds left, And then we're going right back into our rocking. Okay? Let's go ahead and transition ourselves there now. On your butts. This time, we're going to rock up to a V-sit. Your V-sit can look like this. It can look like this. Or if you can't really do that, just bend your knees and come up to this position. So we're rocking, coming up to a V-sit. Okay, here's my V. And there's the other part. So rock, V-sit. See if you can keep those knees together as you come up into that upright position. So rock it back, V-sit. Rock, V-sit. Okay, if you need to hold on to the backs of your legs, that's cool. You want to try to create and maintain length through the spine. And then when you rock, you round through the back with control. Want to make sure you're not smacking your head on the ground. Rock to V-sit. Rock to V-sit. Now, if this is uncomfortable on your sacrum, then maybe go all the way through into the seated position. All right, guys, back into our side sit. This time we're adding a rotational reach. Okay, so we'll swivel those knees and rotate through the spine and reach. For me, I like to inhale in the center part, exhale as I rotate and reach. Okay, long through the spine. Try not to arch through the back. Think more about rotation and length through the spine. Okay, swivel, rotate, reach. Do you want to take the arms out of it for the swivel part? Nice, right on. I want to encourage you guys to think about the movements you don't normally do. I know at least one of you is going to be on some Zoom meetings today. Looking down probably. Okay, so let's look up. Point your finger in your environment and add some movement nutrition as you go. Okay? All right, so going right back into our knee hand crawl position. This time, we're going to add a step out lunge. Okay? So, we're going to go ahead, bring a foot forward, bring it back, switch legs. Now try to put that foot down softly. Try not to make any noise at all. The more careful you are, the more fine muscle control you need to have. Perhaps you want to step out in all sorts of different directions, maybe even under the body. So many variations. Got about 25 seconds left to enjoy this particular movement. Remember to breathe. About 10 seconds left. And we'll be going right back into our rocking. And we're going to add one more variation. We'll call it sit bone walking. Okay, so from a seated position, you're going to scoot your butt forward. Then you're going to scoot your butt backwards. And then when you're ready, rock it out. Okay, so scoot forward, scoot back, rock it out. You guys know what to do. Perhaps you want to move around a little bit on your feet. This is a nice functional butt scoot. Rock, come up. Change your orientation, change your body position. You got a little weight or a little something in your room you can, move around. Feel free. Rock, come right back up. Maybe you want to add those reaches. Maybe you're like, yeah, Daniel, I want to kick it up and take it to the next level today. Okay. Maybe you got 2 stones in your environment. Start moving those around. Okay? Whatever you do, make it work for you. Okay? Got about 10 seconds left. All right, guys, let's go back into our side sit position, please. One last time. This time, we're going to use a knee hand crawl position to transition. So I'm just from my side sit, place your hands on the ground. From here, put your weight into your arms and then switch the leg that's forward. Now you're in a different side sit position. I can look around. Now I have a new orientation. Oh, I want to go back the other way. Place your hands down. Lift yourself up. Now you're in side sit the other way. Notice that you have a whole new vantage point just through a simple shift. Just like that. Perhaps you want to add some wrist rolling this morning. Maybe your wrists need a little bit more warming before we start adding more pressure into them. Feel free. Got about 25 seconds left. Inhale, exhale. Remember, use and do movements that will be a form of nutrition or supplementation for the movements you're not getting in your daily life. For me, it's I do a lot of looking down, so I want to be looking up. Okay? Couple seconds left. Okay. From here, all we're going to do our last spinal articulation from an inverted crawl position. So what you're going to do is you're going to come into your inverted crawl position and you're going to mobilize your spine. So what I can do is I can add some spinal waves. So I can start curling my pelvis under and then focus on the fine movements of bringing my spine and through that wave motion, and I'm just getting those nice gentle undulations through the spine. It's not about right or wrong. This is a inverted crawl spinal articulation. So you're in an inverted crawl position and you're thinking about, well, how can I move my spine in different positions? Perhaps you just want to drop your knees from side to side. Notice how that affects the spine. So you're just moving your spine in a lot of different weird positions. One of my friends, she does some of these videos that I make and she calls it rolling around like a goofball. That's a pretty good description of a lot of these movements, like a goofball. All right, we're moving into our next movement pattern. We're going to come to a standing position and start with some ground touching. So come to standing, please. From your standing position, what we're going to do is we're simply going to touch the ground. So, oh, I want to pick something up in front. I'm going to come down, pick it up. I want to come to the side. Come to the side. Oh, I want to go behind. You can go behind as well. Okay? So all you're doing is bringing your hand down to the ground. You're touching the earth. You're touching the ground. You're probably not touching the, you know what I'm saying. So all you're doing is, so this is again, if you have something in your environment that you can add context, now I can pick up something, put down something. That's all this movement is. It's a matter of doing things that we do throughout our daily life. From the side, you'll notice I'm emphasizing good mechanics, trying to emphasize a nice hip hinge, nice squat, and then adding context by picking something up. Okay? Our next movement is going to be a step back lunge with a rotational reach. So check this out. All you're going to do is feet shoulder width apart, step back, reach. That's it. Okay? So step back, nice and controlled through the feet, good solid foundation, and then reach from that strong foundation. Okay? So you step back and reach. Now, if you want to go further with it, feel free. You want to go shorter with it, feel free. All of it has value. Okay? So you step back, you're feeling that nice, grounded support of the feet and your reach. Maybe you want to, keep the other arm in, ready for action. Okay, cool. So you step back. You'll notice that the body weight tends to shift more towards the front, but you can play around with shifting the weight towards the back foot or maybe distributing the weight evenly through both feet and then reach. Maybe you want to make a back fist out of this one. Bam, I don't know. Choice is yours. You get to do what you like. Okay, so last movement is going to be a hip hinge squat, knee tap, step out, stand up. It's that simple. Hinge, squat, tap the knees, step out, stand up. That's it. You can reverse the pattern if you like by stepping back and then moving through the squat, stand up. Choice is yours. So hinge, squat, knee tap, step out, stand up. Perhaps you want to pause in the kneeling position and add some step outs, add some mobilizations. Remember, guys, I'm just giving you an idea of movements that you can incorporate to add some movement nutrition goodness into your life. However, it's important that you make it yours by adding the little nuances that work for you. Okay? So, hinge, squat, knee tap, step out, stand up. Bam, just like that. Okay, guys. Moving right back into our ground touch. This time, we're going to add a break fall. So when I reach to the side, I'm going to break fall to the side. When I reach to the back, I'm going to break fall to the back. And when I come forward, I'm going to sprawl. So check this out. So as I come forward here, I'm going to sprawl. Okay? So you either have your sprawl, you have your break fall backwards, and you have your break fall to the side. You have about 30 seconds left to enjoy this pattern. So stay loose. Shake it out from time to time. And when you're ready, get right back into it. Okay? Make it work for you. That's the main thing. Okay? Okay, guys. From here, we're going to do a step behind lunge, or like a split lunge by stepping behind. Okay? So let's start with that basic pattern. Step behind, lower the knee to the ground. Now, once you're there, play around with the sensations. See how it feels. Stay strong. Okay, so step behind, lower the knee down. Remember, think about the movements that you don't always do, which is usually extension exercises of the spine or movements of the spine. We typically find ourselves always looking down and in this flexed forward position. So you want to try to integrate movements where you're not just extending, but creating length through the spine and strength through this upright position. Okay? Step behind, feel that strong base of support. Switch sides. Got about 10 seconds left, fam. Then we're going to be moving right back into our hip hinge, squat, knee tap, step out, lunge, get up. It's a lot of words, but it's pretty simple. Hinge, squat, tap, step out, stand up. Bam. Shake it out. Okay? Accentuate whatever part of this you want. Let's say you want to rock out a few hip hinges. You're like, oh, that feels real good on the caboose. Let me rock that a little bit. Or maybe you want to rock through a couple squats. Maybe you want to add a little bit of weight. Add a little bit to what you're doing, and then follow through with the rest of it. Got about 35 seconds left, everybody. Breathe deeply and expansively the whole time. Because we want to stay strong and relaxed all at the same time. So very, very important. And as we focus on relaxing and being strong at the same time, that helps cultivate efficiency of movement, which the body loves. Okay? Okay, guys. Last set of break falls. The break falls were so fantastic the last time. Let's do it one more time. So remember, if you touch the ground forward, it's going to be a sprawl. If you touch the ground to the back, it's going to be a break fall. And if it's to the side, it's going to be a break fall. Okay, so the idea is to come down to the ground different ways and then get up. Okay? Use whatever pattern works well for you. You know, if the break falls are kind of intense, maybe slow it down a little bit. Maybe kind of work your way through the movements. Maybe even try different positions, because we're basically lowering ourselves to the ground from a push-up position. And the hands can be in all sorts of different positions as you do that. Okay. Last set of step behind lunge. This time, the only difference is we're going to add a reversal. So check this out. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot. So now I'm facing the other direction. I can pivot back, stand up, step behind, pivot. Use your hands as much as you need. And get up. This is really good for the strength of the legs. As you control yourself through the movement, you're teaching your body or telling the body, hey, this is what we need you to be able to do safely and with strength and relaxation embedded into it. I don't want to burn too many calories. Well, that might not be totally true, but you know what I'm saying. Focus on efficiency. Lower down, breathe, and relax. Okay, guys, one last set of hinge squat, knee tap, lunge, get up. Let's get it. Hip hinge, squat, knee tap. I don't even know if I said all that right now, but you guys know the movement. Hinge, squat, tap, step out, get up, and stay loose. Hinge, squat, knee tap, step out, bam, all day. So it doesn't have to be strict. The idea is come down to the ground safely and efficiently. Now, if this is sketchy on the knees, then dial it way down. Maybe use your hands, or maybe even there's a chair in your room, and you can use that to kind of hang on to as you lower yourself down and then come back up. Okay, about 20 seconds left. Hinge, squat, knee tap, step out, get back up. 15 seconds. We're going to be getting into some core movements next, which I know is your personal favorites. Let's go ahead and come down onto the ground, please. We're going to do something called happy baby negative rep crunches. So get into what you might think is a happy baby pose, which is typically laying on your back, legs come out to the side. Now from here, we're going to lift the pelvis off the ground and slowly lower our caboose to the ground, focusing on control. Okay? So you lift up and then slowly come down. Okay? You can take the arms into different positions. Notice how that feels. And if you want to integrate the breath, take your breath in while you're on the ground. As you exhale, is when you lift your butt up and then lower it down. Take the arms above the head if you like. Got about 10 seconds left. Okay, the next set is going to be on our stomachs. So we're going to do pretty much the same thing, only on our stomachs. So let's go ahead and roll onto our stomachs, please. So this time, we're going to lift our upper body off the ground, and we're going to slowly lower ourselves to the ground. Okay, so lift up and slowly lower yourself to the ground. Lift up. Maybe you want to pause in this position here. That's fine. Perhaps you want to add some swimming motions. Add some additional movements. That's good too. And then slowly lower yourself down to the ground. Okay? Rock the spine. Make sure that you're nice and relaxed and powerful there. And when you're ready, come right back up into it. Maybe add some paddling. Looking around. And then slowly lower down. Take a small break if you need to, and then come right back into work. Okay? Paddle, paddle, paddle. Okay, from here, come into a knee-hand crawl position. Our next movement is we're going to take our knees to our elbows. So you're going to flex the toes, lift the knees up off the ground, and then bring the knee to the elbow. Now you can either bring it to the same side elbow, or you could bring it to the contralateral side. So I could bring my right knee to my left elbow, my left knee to my right elbow, or stick to the same side. Now you don't have to only go to the elbow. You can go to wherever you feel is productive for you. Got about 35 seconds left. Try to stay strong. Try to work. Try to spread the ground with your hands so that you're creating width through the shoulders. Make sure that you're breathing. Got about 10 seconds left. And we're going right back into our happy baby pose. Negative crunches. Negative rep crunches. Okay? Let's go ahead and come down onto the ground, please. And let's get it. Press up. Lower down slow and controlled. Come up. Lower down slow and controlled. Perhaps you want to lower those legs closer to the ground this time. Add a little bit of something else there. So you press up, lower down slow, and then you can add. Okay? Crunch, lower, and add. Just make sure that your spine stays in a nice neutral position. You don't want to find your spine arching if you decide to lower those legs towards the ground. You want your spine to stay in the same position pretty much the whole time when you're laying on your back. The only time it really changes is when you come up into this position where you're lifting your pelvis up off the ground. Got about 10 seconds left, everybody. And we're moving right back into our spinal extension. Let's go ahead and get it. So roll onto your stomachs. Lift that upper body off the ground. Get those gentle paddling movements going. Now remember, you want to make sure that you're breathing. Even though that you're laying on your stomach right now, you still want to try to breathe so that you feel your body almost coming up off the ground. You could see as I lift off the ground, this is because pressure is coming into my abdomen right there. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're breathing, and this is a great way to strengthen your diaphragm. When you're ready, get that slow eccentric movement, lowering the body towards the ground. Five seconds. And then we're moving right back into our knee hand crawl, knee to elbow tucks. Okay? So get yourself into a nice, solid, stable tabletop position. Lift those knees a little bit off the ground. You'll notice my butt and my shoulders are pretty much at the same height. And then, with control, I'm going to reach that knee up towards my elbow. Okay? Now, if you really want to take it to the next level, well, that can mean a lot of different things. But you can increase the speed. Just make sure you don't smash your elbow with your knee. You can also go slower, which also has tremendous benefit. Controlling the movement, really, really powerful. Nice and strong the whole time. Okay, guys, about 10 seconds left. Keep it going. Almost there. 7, 6, 4. I can count 3, 2, and 1. One last time for our happy baby pose, negative rep crunches. Go ahead on the baby pose, supine position. Knees could be out to the side, closer together. Really, is the choice is yours. Take your butt up off the ground and lower yourself nice and controlled, maintaining the same position of that spine. So you lift and you lower. Notice how good that feels. Get in touch with the space that your feet are traveling through. Your feet can go a pretty long way away from your face. And it can be beneficial to take your attention into the space around your feet. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Make it work for you. 5 seconds left. Then we're going right back into prone spinal extension. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get it. Prone spinal extension. One last set. Now remember, if you want to add anything to these movements, you really should. So this time, I'm going to add a little bit of a rotational reach for my extension. So I'm extending, but now I'm adding a little bit of a rotational reach. Maybe I want to take it all the way through and get a long body stretch. Feel free. Usually by the third set, that's when we want to start to improvise a little bit. Or anytime you feel like you've mastered the pattern or feel fairly comfortable with it, that usually is an indication it's time to expand. It's time to add to the pattern. Add whatever intricate details you like. Make it work for you. We're going to be coming to a standing position next. Oh, excuse me. We got one more set of knee-hand crawl movements. So let's go ahead and come into our knee-hand crawl position one last time. So we're going to come into this position and we're going to tap. Perhaps this time you want to add, so I can go with my knees coming towards the front, towards the side, maybe one's to the side, maybe I add a little bit of whatever you like. This is, like I said, once you get the movement, dialed in, then you can start to add on these movements and make it work for you. Make sure that you're breathing. If you need a break at any time, go ahead and lower those knees to the ground, take a couple sips of air, and then get right back to it. 10 seconds left. Next, we're going to be coming to a standing position on our mats, please. We're going to start with a split squat exploration. What does that mean? Well, one of the most common movements you're going to do throughout your day is to put one leg in front of the other and lower yourself down to the ground and touch the ground. So the split squat is this position, and exploration means that you're going to explore every different possible scenario of movement in this position. So I can reach above my head, I can rotate and reach around this way, I can reach out to the side with the same side arm, and when you're ready, come to standing, lower back down with the other leg forward. Okay, so now I switch sides. Nice simple split squat stance, lower yourself down, and then explore positions. Okay, you want to practice being strong in this position. See what you can do. See how crunched you can get your body or how open you can get your body. This is an exploratory movement. And then our next movement is going to be a deep squat reversal. So check this out. We're going to come to a deep squat position. Place your hands on the ground, and all you're going to do is you're going to sweep the leg behind you and change your orientation. Okay? So hands come to the ground, foot slides behind, change your orientation. That's it. So bring the leg behind, pivot on the balls of the feet. Now you got yourself into a new position here. Okay? You can also use your arms to lead the pattern. So I can sweep my hands and lower down, or I can use my step behind and lower down. Nice and easy. Okay. Sweep and lower. Sweep and lower. Got about 20 seconds left, everybody. Okay. And lower. Sweep and lower. Okay, our next movement is going to be a plank or push-up position, please. So let's go ahead and come there. From our push-up position, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to focus on our positioning. So what I want to ask that you do, this may require you to bring those knees down onto the ground. What you're going to do is you're going to spin your arm so that the pit of your elbow is facing forward. The next thing you want to do is add a couple scapular push-ups just so you can feel the movement of the scapula on the rib cage. So this means I got to keep my elbow straight, and I'm just going to dip my body weight in between my shoulders with control. Now, if you find yourself going, really shaking through this transition, that could indicate some need for practicing this movement because there's a little bit of weakness in your ability to control or stabilize the scapula as it moves around the rib cage. Once you got that one, you're going to separate the ground with your hands, and that puts some torque into the shoulders, which adds to safety. And then when you're ready, you can bring those legs back and just pause in this beautiful isometric push-up position. Okay? Only a few more seconds, then we're going to come right back up to standing. So bring one leg forward, stand up. We're moving right back into our split squat explorations. So again, this time maybe you want to extend the distance between your legs and you want to explore different positions while you're here. When you're ready, hinge forward at the hips, take that back knee off the ground, come to standing, and then switch sides. Okay, so a nice staggered stance. Get ready, make sure those feet are active. It's really important to focus on strength in our foundation, which is the feet. Okay, and just play around with different positions in this split squat position. Play around with shifting your body weight. Maybe apply the weight into the front foot, then the back foot, maybe then both feet. Maybe take that knee off the ground. Switch sides. Oh, we're already moving on to the next one. Okay, guys. So from here, we're going to do our squat reversals. So we're coming into our deep squat. You could either be on the balls of your feet or the heels. Choice is yours, but you're putting your hands on the ground, sweeping one leg behind, and with control, coming into your new position. So hands come down, sweep the leg around, come into your nice squat position, and then when you're ready, do it again. So this one should be fun. This one should be, where you start to maybe improvise a little bit. Remember, once you are familiar with the pattern, then that's usually the time that you want to start to improvise a little bit. It's like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. Squatting, and I'm sweeping my leg around or my hands around. Maybe one time I spin around with my foot on the ground, and the next time I hook my foot through the air. Whatever you like. Choice is yours. Okay, so from here, right back into our isometric push-up position, please. Now this time, if you want to add a shoulder tap, you can. Try to keep the pelvis in the same position so that you're not moving around too much. You want to add some push-ups here too? You can feel free. Choice is yours. Maybe you want to add a little bit of an overhead reach. That's fine as well. The main position is push up. And again, if this is too difficult, feel free to lower those knees to the ground. You can always add your movement variations no matter what position you find yourself in. What's important is that you're making these movements work for you. I'm getting ready for a day where I got to be doing a lot of stuff. So I'm moving my body accordingly. and giving my body a little bit of attention where it might not get attention later today. Okay, so one last time of our standing split squat exploration. So again, come into your split squat position, lower yourself down, and this is where you play. Maybe I got something in my room that I can move around. Maybe I have a wall that I have to try to do my split squat next to without touching. You know, life often has us in positions, tight positions, awkward positions, where we have to move something, and rarely in the gym do we practice these variations. We usually have single plane of motion movements. It's not really single plane, but you know what I'm saying. So when we practice movement, we start to practice in multiple planes. So in this position, we have a sagittal plane and transverse plane motion, okay? And then we can even add frontal plane. You can do so much more with your movement practice the more variety you add. Okay, so getting right back into our squat reversals one last time. So squat, bring the leg behind, new position there. Squat, get yourself into a nice rhythm, a nice flow. Perhaps you want to sweep the leg forward and backwards. Remember, choice is yours. Make it work for you. You might feel like, wow, this feels pretty cool. Moving my body around. I don't know that I'll ever use this. Well, maybe in the garden, you know. Gotta do a little bit of weeding over here. And I gotta do a little bit of weeding over here. And it just makes it more interesting. 20 seconds left, everybody. You'll notice that the more freedom you give yourself to move, the better. 5 seconds left. We're going right back into our last isometric push-up position. Let's go ahead and get it. So, push-up position, nice and strong. Remember, you can always play around with those arm bone rotations, the scapular push-ups. And once you feel stable, imagine you're spreading the ground with your hands, and that will help to establish and maintain that width through the shoulders. Nice and strong. You want to add your shoulder taps? Feel free. You want to add a little bit, put a high hip crawl, touch the opposite foot, whatever you like. This is the base of our movement, and now that we're in our third set, you can expand in whatever way works for you. Whatever you do, make sure that you're challenging yourself, that you're playing around with speed, intensity, load. There's so many different variables that we can play with here. All right, guys. We're going to move into our stretching part of our movement practice today. We're starting to wind down. We're going to start with a supine long body stretch. So you're going to lay on your back, please. Arms are going to come above the head. You're going to take one leg across the body, and you're just going to elongate through the entire body. So you're as long as you possibly can. When you're ready, sweep the leg back and then switch sides. So it's just nice long body stretch. Inhale, exhale. As you inhale, exhale, see if you can relax your body as much as you possibly can. So there's activity in the tissues, but they're also being encouraged to relax and use as little effort as possible. Okay? We can also go on to our side and get a side long body stretch. So So you might be thinking, well, what does that mean? Well, roll onto your side and move your arms and legs around and notice what you feel. If something feels good, follow that train. Follow the feel good train. Because as we start to move into the stretch aspect of our movement, we want to make sure that we're honoring that feel good principle. Okay, let's roll on to the other side, same thing. Roll and stretch. Breathe, inhale, exhale. And we can also go on to our stomachs, same exact thing. So, sorry. So, nice and long, adding nice gentle stretches, long body stretches. That's all this is. Inhale, exhale. Make sure that you're breathing and make sure that your body is active but relaxed all at the same time. This is where you want your body to really show you, okay, what do you want? What do you want? And then you give it. All right? Next one. We're going to do our split squat stretch. So for this one, you may need a pillow underneath your knee. I definitely like to use a pillow. Okay, so you got a pillow, something soft under the knees. You're going to get yourself into a split squat position and just start to shift your body weight around. Bring your attention into different parts of the body, especially the hip of this back leg. And just explore sensations as you shift your body weight around and through this hip. Inhale, exhale, maybe add a little bit of overhead reaching. Shift the body weight forward and back, side to side. But remember, if it feels sketchy, you need to dial it way down. This should be a feel-good, comfortable stretch. You shouldn't be going into positions where you go, ah. And if you are going, ah, then that's your sign to breathe. Okay, let's switch legs, please. Nice and strong, upright through the body. This is our last movement for today, guys. So really start to dial your attention in on your breathing. As we dial our attention in towards our breathing and we start to come to a close of our movement practice today, start to add whatever variations of movement that you need, kind of like a last call of sorts, or you start to just add little gentle movements to make sure that you're preparing yourself for the rest of the day, for tomorrow, for whatever it is that you're trying to train for in this life. Okay? Switch a couple more times in and out through each leg. Inhale, exhale. Relax your body. Move your body in whatever ways that feel appropriate for you. Now, I'm going to be ending the session, but that doesn't mean that you have to end. If you want to add some relaxation, some restorative poses, perhaps some more stretching, please feel free to do so. Maybe you want to lay on the ground and just relax and breathe for a little while. That would be very beneficial, by the way. Whatever you end up doing, let's say that you just got to get on with your day right away. Boom, hop up, get on it, because you've just prepared yourself to be able to move in safe and productive ways for the rest of the day. I hope that you guys enjoyed that movement practice today. You know that I most certainly did. And I also enjoyed it because you decided to show up. So thank you so very much. Please make sure to drink plenty of water today. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you next time. Peace out.